Okay, so as our last lesson, we're just going to go ahead and talk about solids of revolution, which I love doing. So a solid of revolution is just a solid figure obtained by rotating a plane curve around some straight line or axis. So to illustrate this, I'm going to show you a little GeoGebra rendition right here. So in this example, which I can't point on my iPad, but we are going to be rotating a rectangle around, and we're going to do it around that z-axis. I don't know if you notice there's a y, a z, and the other one's actually x. You just can't see it. Let me just make it bigger. There you go. So we're going to be spinning it around the z-axis. So you're taking a rectangle and spinning it around, and you're going to get a three-dimensional shape. And here we go. As you spin it around, you'll notice that it starts forming a cylinder. So a rectangle spun around an axis would give you a cylinder. So that is a solid of revolution. So the cylinder was created as you revolved it around. Okay. Now I'm going to reset this, and we're going to go to the cone. A cone you'll get as you rotate a triangle around. If you spin that around, you'll notice the one point stays right on the z-axis the whole time, and that base becomes a circle because you're spinning it around 360 degrees, and you form a cone. You can have other kind of cool shapes though too. So this one right here is a cylinder with a cone hole in the middle of it because it's not touching the z-axis that we're spinning around. So there's going to be a little hole at the bottom of this. So that's what we're going to be doing. And so today is when art meets math. It's awesome. So I'm going to give you a picture with a line, and I'm going to tell you to draw the solid of revolution and then also describe it as best as you can. Some of them are going to be harder than others. Okay, so easiest way for those who maybe aren't as artistic and can't see it as well, easiest way to do this is just go ahead and first reflect the shape over the line. And then anything that's not on the actual line, any vertex or whatever, just create little kind of like oval-like shapes to show that there's a circle base right there. Okay, so like so. There we go. And then you just need to describe that it is a cylinder. For those who are artsy, you can get into the shading aspect and make it look really three-dimensional. Go at it, go crazy. So this one we've already talked about, I showed, but once again, just the way you draw it is just reflect it over as best as you can, which that was kind of horrible. And then go ahead and any point that's not on the vertex, you're going to go ahead and show that there's a circular element to that, like so. So there's a circular base, so we'll call this the cone because it is a cone. Let's do another one. Now this one's interesting. It's good to practice thinking through what the shape might look like. Now notice how nothing on this shape is actually on the line itself. That means we're going to have a hole in our shape as it spins around. So it will look kind of like a cylinder, but with a hole in it. So just, use your art skills, roughly draw the picture, as best as you can. I'm not actually super artistic, so just do the best you can do. And then I'm going to take all these points and show, which that's going to be the inside. I'm going to do the outside ones first. That there is going to be some circular motion to those, like so. And this will be on top. I'm going to consider this my top, like so. So I'm going to call this a cylinder with a truncated cone hole. But you can be creative, call it what you want. Let's go ahead and do another one. So we're getting a little more intense here, super fun. Once again, we're gonna have a hole. This time we're gonna have a little cylindrical hole because everything's perfectly even from or equidistant, I should say, from the other. So I'm gonna go ahead and just reflect that shape over as best as I can. It's not going to be perfect, and you're just going to have to deal with that. Unless you're artistic, and I'm not, so it's fine. And then everything, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that less exaggerated though. Just because it was so far out, so it's not going to be as exaggerated. So we got this little bell shape, it looks like. I'm going to call this the top. Oops. And there it is. So it's kind of like a little bell shape. That's what I'm going to call it. Little cylindrical hole. Whatever you want to call it. Just as long as it like pretty roughly describes what the shape is. We're not being super picky here. All right, let's go ahead and take what we did last time and mix it with this time. So this is just to kind of practice cross sections. So we're going to draw the groove and the requested cross section, and then put it on the line, and then find the solid of revolution. So trapezoid, if you remember, you're just going to go from a corner, and I'm just going to go from this front corner, and you're going to go away. You're going to go out so that you get longer sides along the faces that you're at, and it'll come through the bottom. So that's the trapezoid cross section. And there are a couple different ways you can draw that. That's not the only way to draw it. And then I'm going to pay attention right here. It says place the longer base. So it's going to look like so, roughly, very roughly. And then you just go ahead and draw your cross section. Or your solid of revolution. Sorry, I said that wrong. Solid of revolution. So it's like we've got like a nice cylinder with cones on top and bottom. It didn't tell you to describe it, but that's what it looks like to me. And that is that. That's it.